everyone, I am Lynn, and today I was going to talk about kind of a dark topic. It is the Long Island serial killer. And this is kind of lengthy but interesting and very relevant to people living around that area and curious of what has been going on in their neck of the woods. So before I get started, please go and hit the like button. It really truly does help me out. Okay, so this question. Hi, Lynn. I was wondering if you could please help with a case that's very local to me. The Long Island serial killer case started in 2011, so 11 years ago. Right away got tons of media attention with books, with documentaries, and podcasts delving into the case. The early stages of the investigation were complicated by corrupt local police chief who thwarted the FBI's investigation to cover his own many misdeeds. Those could have been related to sexual, financial, etc. That's what this person has deduced here. So brief synopsis as to what is going on. The Long Island serial killer, and this is quoted out of Wikipedia even, also referred to as Lisk, L-I-S-K, the Gilgo Beach killer, is an unidentified suspected killer who is believed to have murdered between 10 and 16 people over a period of 20 years and to have disposed of their bodies in areas on the south shore of Long Island, New York. Most of the known victims were sex workers who advertised on Craigslist. The victims' remains were found over a period of months in 2010 and 2011 after the disappearance of Shannon Gilbert resulted in a police search of the area along the Ocean Parkway near the remote towns of Gilgo and Oak Beach in Suffolk County. The remains of the victims, the Gilgo Four, were found within a quarter of a mile of each other near Gilgo Beach in December of 2010. 6 more sets of remains were found in March and April of 2011 in Suffolk County and Nassau County. Police believe the later sets of remains predate the 4 bodies found in December 2010. So epidemic going on many years here, and all of a sudden these bodies are surfacing. Gilbert's remains were found a year after the remains of the Gilgo Four were discovered. Her cause of death remains contested, with police claiming accidental drowning, while an independent autopsy determined possible strangulation. So, what's going on here? What suspects have they had? There's a few popular suspects, but in the past few years, it seems this case is destined to remain cold, which bothers me to no end. My strong suspicion is in a suspect whose name seldom comes up on online chatter. His name is James Bissett. The 40-year-old businessman was found dead in his car at a local park and suspected suicide only days after the remains of the last victim, Shannon Gilbert, were found. Bissett had connections to some key players in the case, such as the ousted corrupt police chief. Coincidences aren't so coincidental. On the night she went missing from Oak Beach, Shannon called 911, said someone was trying to kill her. Her 22-minute-long 911 call was only recently released and can be heard with transcripts at the YouTube link below. I attached it on the blog post if you want to go in and hear the phone call yourself, maybe see what your intuitive filter is telling you. I have that attached on the actual post itself. So what do I get? What do I get with this case? What is going on? This thing that's 11 years old. What's going on? So as I focus on it, I get the police uncovered a few suspects that they investigated, and I get they did that very early on. They got deeper into the investigation. They did narrow it to a prominent member in society. I got there was either some element of blackmail or some type of dark behavior that prevented this person on the case from coming forward, but it didn't prevent some tough conversations from occurring. So I get that the person that did this had conversed with the police, and the police kind of knew who did it. But some element of blackmail could be influence, it could be a prominent position, family in a certain spot, prevented the police from really coming forward and doing anything more with it. The person, however, knew that they could only hide for so long, and the guilt and addiction of having power over someone to the point of killing them was realized. It was like this killer, it was like an addiction, like how a drug addict needs their next fix. For him, that meant going and killing someone, having power over them, and just completely making them weak and beg and all this stuff, but still having power. It's like he couldn't get enough of that. And even though this person had money and used that to avoid being persecuted, eventually the guilt started to take a toll. And I do get that this man, James Bissett, was indeed the killer. I do get this guy did it. This man was plagued with mental illness, and I get that there was some element of ego tied to him that prevented him from getting it treated or going and admitting it or even talking to someone, so he just dealt with it. I also get that he heard voices that he thought were telling him what he had to do. And it's like he just, something else almost would consume him when he would go in that motion or go and commit these horrible acts. The voices were too much, and he did end up taking his own life. It's like he couldn't take it. There was two sides to him. It was almost like a split personality type of situation, where one side of him showed one way to society and the other part of him showed a completely different personality. And all in all, this story is just filled with a ton of darkness and a ton of sadness all the way around. And that was all I have for this reading. If you live in that area, if you followed this case, listened to documentaries, drop a line. Let me know what you think. And I will leave you with that. Again, I'm Lynn with Psychic Focus at psychicfocus.blogspot.com. Thank you. Bye.